Chevelle took the spotlight, Buick was doing something even more savage, without the flash. Number 3, 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1 455. You wouldn't expect the baddest car on the block to wear a Buick badge. But in 1970, that's exactly what happened. The Buick GSX Stage 1 wasn't loud about what it could do, but once you heard it fire up, the conversation changed. Underneath the Saturn yellow or Apollo white paint was a 455 cubic inch V8 producing a claimed 360 horsepower and an earth-shifting 510 pound-feet of torque, the highest of any American production car at the time. Let that sink in. More torque than the LS6 Chevelle, more than the 426 Hemi, more than anything. The GSX Stage 1 was more than just muscle. It was muscle in a tuxedo. You got bucket seats, a center console, full gauges, and a ride smoother than almost any other car in its class. But make no mistake, when you dropped the hammer, this thing moved. It ran mid-13s in the quarter mile and could hang with, or beat, the biggest names in the game. The hood tack, rear spoiler, and blacked-out grille gave it some flair, but not enough to tip off the average driver that this wasn't just a flashy coupe. And that was the genius of the GSX. It didn't need to scream, it just showed up and handled business. Today, it stands as one of the most underrated but overperforming muscle cars ever made. It didn't beg for respect, it took it. Coming up next, a Mopar brute with 6 barrels, 1 purpose, and no patience. Number 2, 1971, Plymouth GTX 446 barrel. The GTX was Plymouth's gentleman's muscle car, but with the 446 barrel, it stopped being polite and started throwing punches. In 1971, Plymouth gave the GTX its final big shot of adrenaline. Under the hood, the legendary 440 cubic inch V8 with 3 two-barrel carbs, delivering 385 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. It wasn't just big, it was relentless. With the air grabber hood scoop engaged and the carbs roaring in sequence, the GTX could sprint to 60 in 5.7 seconds and rip through the quarter mile in 13.7. This was no stripped-out drag car either. It came loaded, wood grain trim, bucket seats, rally dash, chrome everywhere. It was refined chaos. The 1971 model brought a new fuselage body, swooping lines, Coke bottle curves, and wide stance. It looked heavier than it was. But with the 6-barrel setup and optional track pack, which included a 3.54 Dana 60 rear and sure grip diff, it moved like something much smaller. The GTX was often overshadowed by the Roadrunner and the Cuda, but this thing was arguably Mopar's most complete package: speed, luxury, and unfiltered aggression. And because it wasn't overproduced, it's rare, especially in 6-barrel trim. The 440 plus 6 GTX wasn't loud by design, but when it lit up the street, everyone paid attention. Still, there was one car that wore its menace even more proudly. And it's coming up next as our number 1 top pick of Detroit's biggest and baddest muscle cars. Number 1, 1970, Dodge Charger RT 440 6-pack. If muscle cars had a final boss, this was it. The 1970 Dodge Charger RT with the 440 6-pack was the ultimate combination of style, power, and sheer street presence. It didn't need to be the fastest, though it came damn close. It just needed to be the baddest. And it was. Under the hood was the 440 Ci V8 with 3 Holley 2-barrel carbs, rated at 390 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. It hit 0 to 60 in around 5.6 seconds and laid down quarter miles in the low 13s. But stats don't tell the full story. The Charger RT was wide, long, low. It had the infamous Coke bottle shape, hidden headlights, and one of the most aggressive grills ever put on a production car. Option the Super Track pack, and you'd get a 4.10 Dana 60 rear, Hemi suspension upgrades, and a Hurst-shifted 4-speed that barked with every gear. Inside, it was part luxury cruiser, part muscle cockpit. Bucket seats, wood grain, pistol grip shifter, rally dash. Everything said you were driving something serious. And when that 6-pack opened up, it didn't just accelerate, it lunged. The induction howl, the body twist, the way it shoved your spine into the seat, It was unforgettable. The Charger RT 440 six-pack didn't pretend to be balanced. It was a middle finger on wheels, aimed at anyone who thought they had the fastest car in town. It closed out the golden era of muscle the way it should have. Loud, lethal, and legendary. And that's it. 15 of the biggest, loudest, and most brutal muscle cars ever built in Detroit. No light